Hi, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tami. I am your host and a Master Certified Life Coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Tami, and I'm your host, and I help determined women like yourselves, women who are faith-led, wanting to be obedient, wanting to understand what God called us to do, to be, to create. I help them design and launch a purpose-centered, purpose-driven, purpose-aligned life and business, well, so that they can experience and they can have the full weight of joy. And, well, you found my podcast. I have a favor to ask before I dive into today's episode, which it is a good one. It's one that this is one of the major changes that I made in my life that I know that it's going to help you as well. But before we get on, if you haven't left me a rating review for this podcast, I would really appreciate it. It is so important that we get ratings and reviews in order for the powers that be, the podcast algorithm to know to suggest the podcast to other people. So if you wouldn't mind leaving me a rating and review, I would really appreciate it. And well, I just read all of them. They warm my heart. They help me see what you like about the podcast, what direction you want me to go in. And it just helps me stay motivated to keep going. Well, with that, let's get started. Okay. So you wake up in the morning and you feel this internal struggle. I know it doesn't happen very often, right? Where maybe we feel the out of whack, out of balance, misaligned. Maybe we feel this urge, this discontent. And then we feel the guilt of the discontent because we have a good life. We have great kids, not perfect kids, but we're not perfect parents. So there you go. For the most part, we know they're going to turn out well. We're doing the best we can. We love them. We want the best for them. And we're still feeling that we're out of balance. We lack self-care, or whole self-care, as I like to call it, because it's not just going to the spa every once in a while. It's not just as simple as taking a walk once in a while and expecting your cup to be full. True whole self-care is taking care of every area of your life. And so the internal struggle of taking care of ourselves, the struggle between our work and our personal life, and that guilty feeling that when we're at work, we're thinking about our kids and, all the things that we should be doing at home. When we're at home, we're thinking about work and that email that we didn't send, or that project that's looming over us. Fostering relationships. We have this, we know that every moment is precious. And so when we have time, we know what's important to us. And so taking the time of what relationship do I foster, and what is the importance? What do I do? And then just all the hats that we have to wear, all the hats, the volunteering, the shuttling, the chauffeuring, the Ubering, the cooking and cleaning, and all the hats that we have to wear. So we have all these internal struggles. Where do we go to fix them? I know that anytime I used to feel out of balance, or I would feel out of whack or misaligned, or that I needed some semblance. Okay, so balance in this respect, we're not talking about even, equal, we're not going to spend as much time at work as we do at home. We're not going to spend as much time at home as we do in work. Like, it's not ever going to be equal, but a balance that makes us feel that we are able to pour into all areas of our life, that we're able to address what's important to us, a balance that we know that work and rest are not opposites, that they're actually partners. And so we can feel like we can rest. Even when we're at work, we can have a few moments of rest to recenter. So that's what I'm talking about, balance. And I would go to, okay, what do I need to fix? I would go to outside sources. I would say, okay, I need to clean the house. I need to do this. I need to add this to my to-do list. I would look at these external solutions to my internal struggles. And it made me more exhausted. It wore me down. It did not fix. It may be a temporary, it may have like slapped a Band-Aid on a gaping wound, a gaping, a feeling or the guilt that I was feeling. But the thing is that when we really try to look at external solutions to give us a quick fix for an internal struggle, it's not going to last. And so I wanted to tell you 3 reasons why we need to really look. We can't look at external solutions to fix these internal struggles that we're experiencing. And one is a mismatched focus. So a lot of times our challenges, our internal struggles come from our personal beliefs, our emotions, our thoughts, our self-awareness, our core values and our priorities. It's because there is something in our lives that is not balanced, is not being fed, that there's a direct opposition to something internally going on within us. And so if we look at something external to fix our core value, to feed our core values, to feed our personal beliefs, or to fix our emotions, how many times have we eaten something or bought something or numbed out and played games to address an emotion that we have? It doesn't last very long, and typically it makes us feel worse. So the other thing is these external solutions, they may bring temporary relief. That, like I said, a Band-Aid, but you can't leave a Band-Aid on. A Band-Aid fills up, it's grody, you have to either even change the Band-Aid or you have to remove it and let air fix the problem, right? So this temporary relief, these external solutions are temporary when we need permanent changes. We need transformation. We need to really look at what's going on within us and then address the source and stop looking at the symptoms. I think I shared, I know I've shared it a couple times about how I was having back pain and I was like in my shoulder and my back. It was just, and it led to a headache and I just had so much pain and I went to the chiropractor and I was like, yeah, my back hurts. And so, being good at what they do, they asked me about my symptoms, but then they looked for the underlying, the root cause, the underlying issues that were at fault, and come to find out that it wasn't my back at all. It was my ribs. I had a rib out of place. And if I would have just kept like getting massages on my back, or I did the little percussion massager, and which would give me temporary relief, but it would always come back. And it actually would come back worse. How many times do we throw an external solution on something that we're feeling internally, and it comes back worse than before, which means that we need more food, more shopping, we need more numbing, we need to avoid it more. And then the last one is relying on external solutions create dependency that undermines your personal power. It undermines who God created you to be. It undermines your gifts, your strengths, your purpose, your calling, your core values. It undermines your core values and your priorities. Now, there's lists of all those core values. And the thing is that a lot of them are so important. It's so crazy how we rank them in an order that's not the same as our friends or even our spouse or our kids. These core values are so unique to us, the way they go together, the way we define them. that if we don't address those and if we look for external solutions, it completely, it removes those and we depend on these crutches. And so I wanted to really to dive into what we could do to help us identify what are some of the core issues, the internal struggles that we're experiencing, and tell you that going after external solutions for them may help in the moment, but in the long run, they are not going to give you lasting transformation. They're not going to heal you. They're not going to give you that lasting relief that you're looking for. So here's 3 reasons why you need to look within yourself to fix your internal struggles. Is one, let's talk about our, I've already been alluding to it. Let's talk about our core motivations. I've already hit that one pretty hard. But the thing is that when we start getting aware of what's causing the imbalance, the emotional stress, the internal struggle in the first place, then we're able to look at where the imbalance actually is. What is the root cause? What is the underlying belief? What is the core issue rather than just the symptom that you're experiencing? How many times have you had a headache and really it's either allergies or it's tension or it's the headache itself is the symptom. It's not the underlying cause. The root cause is causing the headache and it's what's triggering. You're like, I need a fix. And so when you look at yourself, and this is one reason why I use the Enneagram, because it's so easy to really dive into. It's really easy to get to your core motivations. Because if you are doing something that goes directly against your core motivation, you're going to feel that struggle. You're going to feel that disconnect and you're going to feel like you're misaligned. So then also let's look at the personal growth and empowerment. We all have those internal struggles. We will always have them. God says that we will have struggles in our lives. And a lot of them it's our beliefs about them that actually decide the direction we're going to go. But when we look within ourselves, when we look at our core motivations, when we look at our core values, and we start looking at how God wired us, we can actually grow and empower ourselves even more. The true transformation can come if we get honest with what's truly going on inside. Now, this is, I say this like it's an easy thing, because it's simple to do, right? Ask yourself a few questions and find out what you truly believe. But it doesn't mean it's easy, because sometimes sitting with our own thoughts is one of the hardest things that we can do. For whatever reason, we're afraid to do that. And I don't quite understand why we're afraid to do that. I don't know why I'm afraid, but I know that when I do, I feel so much better. When you bring something to light, it loses its power over you. This belief that you hold, if it's stopping you, if it's causing a struggle, most likely, I would say 99% chance, it is actually a lie. It's keeping you safe, not successful. So if you look within first, if you put that Band-Aid on for a few moments, but then give yourself time, put it on your calendar, set time aside that you can really look okay, what is actually going on within me? So many times we feel out of balance, but really it's one area of, we haven't actually done, all the parts of our quiet time. I realized that I was praying, and that was one of my struggles, is I wasn't feeling connected, and I was praying, but I wasn't spending the time reading and writing out God's word that I love to do. And so that was the disconnect. And so when I was feeling internally not connected, it wasn't about getting another Bible study. It wasn't getting, and just need to pray more. It was giving myself 5 minutes to actually write and rewrite the scripture again and write it in my own words and sit with it for a moment. And that helped the internal struggle. So the last thing that I will share about this is that it creates an authentic and sustainable change. You will come out of this. If you address the internal struggles with looking at how God wired you, you'll come out of this driven by self-reflection and introspection, and you'll become more authentically you. You'll understand you'll be able to create more boundaries. You'll be able to say yeses and nos more often. You'll have more energy, because the energy you lose by just the guilt and the shame and trying to figure out what you want, all of these things will help to create a solid foundation that can positively impact you in all areas of your life. And mom and friend, let me tell you, when you are impacted, when you are feeling more like that inner strength and that inner calm and that more resolved about who you are, the people in your life not only notice, but it also can trickle into them as well. That ripple effect that they will experience it as well. And it's a greater sense of peace and satisfaction. You'll get this fulfillment because you're understanding what fulfills you in the first place. You can talk to your friends, and what they say may sound really great and could be wanted. But if it doesn't directly speak to your core motivations and your core avoidances, you're going to struggle with that as well. So what can we do? Well, one is make sure you go to the show notes and you look at the journal question that I have for you. I typically write the journal question after I record, because I really look at what is the center? I have my outline, but of course I don't write word for word, and I kind of let God take this where he wants to take it. So go and get that journal question, but give yourself a couple of minutes. If you haven't identified your core values and your core motivations, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from doing that? There's so many ways, and an easy way is, even if you're not interested in like long-term coaching, I do this one-off session where it was called Introductory Strategic Assessment, but apparently that sounds too hard and too informal. So I am changing it to a personal clarity call where we go through and we identify your core values. We identify your core motivations, your core avoidances. We look at your strengths, and we also look at what the next step is for you. That's what we focus on. It's all about you. It's not let me show you what I've done. It is a complete hour that is all about you. There's some pre-work, so that way when we get into this, you get a path to growth. That's what you walk away with, a tangible document that shows your path to growth and some things to avoid, some things to be aware of, some areas that you're really strong in as well, for you to lean into and for you to dive in more about why are you strong in this? And so that's this session, the personal clarity call. If you just want to look and say, okay, Tami, I just want to get down and dirty and let's do one time. Let's see what my next step is. Let's see what my core motivations, start to dive into this, and you'll start to fix those you start to fix those internal struggles. You won't need those external solutions. You won't need the numbing out. You won't need the retail therapy. You won't need the food therapy. You'll be able to focus and ask yourself what you want and what do you need. And so I just want to offer that to you. If you're interested in that call, just DM me the PCC. You can DM that, but it's this clarity call, whatever, but DM me and let's talk. I'm changing all of the names because I liked ISA. All right. I'm prior military. I like it's just it's we get the introductory and it's just strategic. We look at what and then of course assessment. Let's look at, again, it's based on your answers, not on what I think or what I know. It's based on what's going on inside of you. So if you're interested in that session, reach out to me. Let's talk. I have done, I've probably done about 15 to 20 of these now. I've only started it, I think it's about 6 months ago, less than that actually. It was this year. So probably January, February, I started these. And they have been such a popular such a popular thing. I did one for myself. I've done one for my friends, and just that path to growth and understanding your strengths is so valuable. And you'll have a document that when you start to feel that internal struggle, you can go back to, and it will remind you who God created you to be. So if you're interested, reach out to me. Let's get on the books. Let's do it. I only have, I'm booking into June now, actually middle of June. So it takes a little time to get that in session, because you do have some pre-work, but it's a lot of fun. And you get to talk about yourself for an hour and see what God has for you. So join me, come and do it. It's fun. Reach out. And with that, choose joy until joy chooses you. And I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.